Oh my God. Everyone would just like die to know all of the gossip we just talked about before we hit record,
Oh
right?
my
Like
gosh.
all of that gossip that no one is gonna ever hear.
The tea is too
We
hot.
can't.
The tea
We
is too hot
can't.
to spill.
When the NDA is up, we'll share. Check back in 5 years.
Ooh, I know. There's actually some stuff though that I feel like I do have to kind of keep to my grave sometimes, and
Ooh.
since I've been doing it for like so long, and I have had so many random interactions with people from like the show or like people who know weird stuff, it's very interesting.
That's fun.
Mm. You can
Yeah.
leak that through a third party, maybe. We'll get the information.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so smart. Oh my God. I love it.
Wait, so we were talking about your background before we got started, and I'm now realizing there's also an ABC logo in the corner, so it looks like you're like official.
Yeah, I'm the third new happy hour co-host with Joe and Serena and
Oh
Jenna.
God. It's a must at this point.
Yeah, oh my God. It's so wild. So how long have like you been I want to hear both y'all's like stories as far as like how long you've been watching the show and like as
Yeah.
fans.
Well, I've been probably I remember the first season I've watched was the guy that was a pilot before Pilot Pete.
Mhm.
That was
Mhm.
like ages ago. And
Mhm.
like I was just that was also when probably the iPhone slash iPods were like first coming out with the screens and stuff. And like I would sneak my mom's iPod, the screen one, like into my room because I just wanted to like watch shows or
Oh
whatever
my God.
that I wasn't allowed to watch. And I found like, oh, The Bachelor. And so I went on there and they had the whole series or all the episodes of that one series on there. So I watched that guys and I watched the London guys or the English guys
Mhm.
too. So those were my two Bachelor um series or seasons that I saw. And then it was like on and off on there. And then like I watched a couple more seasons and then I took a break on Hannah Brown's season
Oh wow.
because who was before that? I don't know. I was over that shit too. It was like the
Colton.
okay, yeah, with Colton, I'm like, I'm over it. Like, I'm taking a break. Like, this is ridiculous.
Mhm.
And so then my sister watched that the season. She's like, that was such a good season. I'm like, oh man, like what the fuck? So ever since
Missed
then,
out.
I just decided to like keep watching. And then
In case you miss it out, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I think Rach, did I drag you into Bachelor watching, or did you see some seasons before that?
Yeah, I never watched like growing up, but when I was in college, I lived with a group of girls and we started watching it like my junior year. And I just liked having like appointment TV and also it was so silly. I think it was Chris Soules. And
Mm,
then whoever Ben Higgins was on, I remember him.
mm,
It's like around that time. And then I didn't really keep up with it like after college until yeah, Tat and I met when I moved to her area and we were kind of like we were just talking about we met on Bumble BFF. So we were like looking for dates, girl dates to have. And we were like, let's just hang out every Wednesday or whatever Hulu time is and watch Bachelor.
yeah. And then we're just like watching, we would just talk shit. And I was like, Rachel, you're hilarious. Like
Like
she would
she's
just make me
fun.
laugh. And then she's like, you're funny too. I don't know if she said that, but I would assume in my
Of
mind that
course.
she also thought I was hilarious too. And I'm like, we should like, actually Rach brought up the idea because I was just like thinking of the idea of starting a podcast for a while. It was just like
Yeah.
it was just like
As
thinking
every like
about it.
millennial does at some point in their
Yeah,
life.
right?
Always in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Always in the back. And then one time I came over and we're drinking some margaritas and she's like, we should just do a podcast. I'm like, you know what? We should call it Trash TV because I've been thinking about that for a hot minute.
I love
And
it.
that's how Trash TV was birthed.
You guys are so smart to also
Origin
not
story.
limit yourself to just The Bachelor. Like, sure, have I talked about other shows? Yes, but
Mhm.
it's like hard for me. I'm so exhausted just from this
Yeah.
like duty that I've put on my shoulders, and so I like can barely watch any other show. But in general, also I'm just like date card pod that doesn't go with like Love Island or whatever, like what. So you guys are quite smart. I'm always like, yeah, when somebody can like make a more broader
Very
Trash
generic.
TV, and that covers everything. That could be like the royal wedding.
Oh yeah.
That could be like
That's true.
anything.
Hmm.
We'll get into wrestling soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So
Football,
sad.
all that stuff.
Yeah, we do it all. Bachelor is all consuming though. I definitely commend you for your coverage.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. It's like it's so funny because I do sometimes like no one gives a shit, Jenna. Like no one cares if you
They
do
do.
whatever. But yeah, but thank you. But like I do sometimes feel like I'm like, wait, no, people do need my takes, or at least they like them and they want them. And I do think that I provide like a really niche voice to the space in like a really weird way because I'm a lesbian. I'm like super leftist, um, and mean. And but also like traumatized and like can relate to the show. And I love like looking at it from this like, socio-political element to it.
Yeah.
That just like always comes up when you talk to random strangers about it. They're like, "Oh, The Bachelor, that's interesting," and I'll like kind of
Like,
explain
actually.
whatever something's happening, and they're like, "Oh my god, that kind of relates to like our societal problems." I'm like, "Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
microcosm.
like fully. How much time do you have?"
Right.
Um, so yeah, it's I think the having the podcast and my Instagram page has been a really great outlet for getting a lot of that weird kind of content out that I consider art in a way because of the way
Totally.
that I like am mixing all those things together.
Hmm.
And I've made so many great friendships, so many good friends, and then I like meeting new people like you guys. It's so much fun.
Yeah, totally. It's like our own little community. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need your voice. I feel like there's definitely like there's two people who watch The Bachelor. It's like their direct target market, and then there's like the opposite. And somehow we're both like really into it. But you're a voice of that second segment, which is great. We need those takes.
I'm being like fully triggered back to the 2020 of it all because like during that time my account was really bananas leading up to the election, and I definitely like was pretty, we were all pretty mentally ill with the pandemic and everything that was going on.
Yeah.
But I had no boundaries, and like I mean y'all like you, I was outing magas and doing all shit. So it was insane, and like I'm kind of starting to do that again because things, it's topical again, right?
Hmm.
I mean, it's always topical. We should always be like
Yeah.
dragging these assholes, but I feel it in my bones that like it's kind of, I'm coming back a little bit, and I'm just like, hey Jenna, make sure you have boundaries so you don't get too deep into the woods.
You know, it's your platform. I say whatever you got to say, you got to use the platform.
Yeah, real. It's so true. So true.
Love that.
So we were wanting to do a little bit of dumpster diving with you. On our pod, we have a segment called dumpster diving, and basically it's just all this crap and trash that we find that is so entertaining to talk about. Just like that's headlining that we're like, oh, that's some good trash that we need to,
Mhm.
chat. So I have a couple topics that I found that I wanted to share with you guys. And if you guys found any topics, please, please, please also join in and let me know what you guys found as well. But the first one that I found, have you guys seen how M as in Mary, the okay, how his
As in, don't
siblings,
marry.
yeah, don't marry.
Do not marry.
It says that Sam M and his siblings throw shade at Jen Tran and shows editing. Quote, crazy how they can cut out so much detail to make certain people look like a king and queen. Have you guys seen this?
Who said that?
One of well, two of his siblings, a brother and a sister.
I haven't seen the actual comments. I heard of the controversies earlier today. Or like maybe somebody was like, Reality Steve is like clapping back at Sam M's family for clapping back at the show. It was kind of like this thing because I think Reality Steve is not a fan of Sam M, which is maybe the only thing that's Reality Steve and I have in common.
That's
Otherwise,
actually
I hate
interesting.
him and like he's blocked. I have, and for the record, I have him blocked. Okay, him and I are like mortal enemies. But sometimes a broken clock's right. So but I saw somebody talking about that and how like yeah the family is coming kind of like to his defense, which is like, listen, even though I don't like the man and we'll get into it,
Hmm.
I think obviously there is edits that happen, and I do think that like your family's allowed to defend you. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if they should be talking shit about Jen. She has nothing to
right.
do with this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, I've
Wait,
seen so here are some of the comments that they've been making.
Oh.
One, let's see here. It says this is First, these are the parents on Facebook. On Facebook.
Of course. They always are.
I know, right? So the mom says there is nothing real about reality TV. To destroy someone's character and manipulate the truth through editing is wrong on so many levels. Isn't it interesting that the first night favorite is now being made into the villain? There are several spoilers out there for who she chooses in the end that you can Google for yourself. Sam is a good guy regardless of how he's betrayed, and I will no longer sit idly by and not speak up. Hey, The Bachelorette, it's called free speech. At least mine is honest, which is more than they can say. Bitch, first of all, don't fucking spoil this for us.
Also, that's not what free speech means.
And that's not what, yeah, free
The
speech.
right to be accurately represented by a reality TV show. I'm pretty sure that's not in the declaration, but that's so odd. I don't, the line of logic, I'm so lost. So
Well,
because
their
he is,
vocabulary is the same. I'm so fed up with, he does not know the words that he is speaking.
No,
Like,
at
we need
all.
a Sam dictionary.
Sam
He's
Right.
got his
dictionary.
own.
Like,
Yeah.
what does
So
this really mean?
she's saying because he was the first, because he got the first impression rose, that it doesn't make sense that he's now the villain. That's all that happens with the first impression rose. That's like
Right.
textbook.
Yeah.
She
Like, or
hasn't
at
seen the
least you
show.
get like a target on your back. Like
Mhm.
getting the Fimpros is not necessarily like a good thing.
Right.
I guess like historically in The Bachelorette, like they've done a decent job at picking a good person up front. A lot of times it has been their final choice, not always, especially not as much anymore. There
Right.
was a handful of a time where it was like you could correlate like that to the winner essentially, but now it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's not the case. Um but you're right, like it puts a target on back. They do often go down a villain route or at least like a weird route where people are like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Weird.
exactly. It's like, it's kind of like a grain of salt kind of thing. But okay, and then this is what the dad said also on Facebook. He said, "I choose my words wisely. I have sat idly by this week watching my son a complete wreck on how he was portrayed. Sam has mostly been the favorite with the first impression rose, etc. The spoiler was revealed, and in my opinion, the network had to paint Sam as this horrendous guy in order for Jen not to look like a complete idiot. Now I know why the network offers free counseling for 1 year after the show. I feel this episode was all fabricated with cut and paste sentences and scenes. Can't change what he said and how he said it, but they can change the scene, script, and context and totally change the delivery. That's the way I feel. Feel free to share this. Hashtag stand with Sam M.
I mean,
Not the hashtag.
oh, how well is that? Is that trending?
I
That's
know.
How many posts on that hashtag?
yikes. Yikes.
I mean, he's
Again,
not wrong. Like
yeah,
yeah, he's just discovering reality TV.
exactly. Yeah.
He's
We're
not
like,
wrong.
we're like, okay, next.
Well, and also like I feel like also I mean, I just don't trust Sam at all. So I'm like, okay, that's
Mm-mm.
what your son is telling you. Like, I mean, I guess like there is edits, but like I don't know. Some of it is coming out of his mouth. Like he is,
Oh yeah.
he's like,
Mhm.
I don't even care about you enough to ever say your name. And it's like, well, you go back
Devin,
last
Devin,
week and he
Devin,
said
Devin.
it. Like, yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, no, he is like not a reliable narrator. So I understand his parents are gonna believe him when he's like, but mommy and daddy, I was made to feel kind of like not the top dog. Like, not everyone liked me, and I've never experienced that in my life. I've never have been told no in my life. Thanks, mom. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you, mom. I bet you she's never fucking reprimanded him for any of his bullshit ever.
100%. Yeah.
And then she goes on Facebook.com and is like, my precious boy, fuck you.
Precious angel.
Oh, God.
Oh my
That's
God.
true.
Yeah. And then a couple of things here and there from the brother. His name's Seth. He's just saying like crazy how they can cut out so much detail to make a person look shallow while making others look like a king. Nobody's making him say or do the things that he. Oh wait, this person replied, "Nobody's making him say or do the things he does. It's literally on camera. I don't know what context makes this look good." And then the sister replies, "They cut out the majority of the conversation. Let's be real now." And then the brother says, "Crazy thing called producers and editing can make people see what they want now, what they want, not what actually happened." LOL. Again, it's just like they're discovering this whole entire thing, and it's
Mhm.
like it is like maybe of course they might not be happy about it, but like at the
Right.
same time he's still saying some of this shit and he's
Mhm.
still being like ugh, disgustingly aggressive with Jen, which I'm not okay
Exactly.
with.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just like over it.
I think they're overestimating the editing capabilities. Like for sure, a lot of it is like patched together with the audio, but it seems like they think that they can like just make a scene that he like an AI version of him, like completely brand new, which
Yeah.
is a little generous.
Yeah. We're not quite there yet.
Not quite there. Give it some time. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's great tea. I totally missed that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course. Do you guys have any tea by chance?
I have some regarding the yeah. So we are supposed to be kind of liking Devin now, right?
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm like, okay. And I was like, last night watching, I was like, okay, the producers are very smart. They bookended these dates for all of us
Hmm.
to compare and contrast.
Hmm.
For what reason? I don't know. But uh, come to find out, I got a bunch of DMs. Devin is like a full on MAGA, anti vaxxer. Um,
Oh,
Really?
he rapped the N word in a song. He's a amateur rapper prior to this. And yeah, he rapped the N word.
Where?
He also
ugh,
supposedly on night one when they did that Truth or Dare game, he apparently said she's like, what conspiracies do you believe in? And he's like that 9/11 was an inside job, and which is like whatever I guess,
Oh my God.
but they cut that from the episode for obvious reasons.
That's the content we
oh
want.
shit.
I know, you can't even, I would have been like so here for that. We're like, oh my god.
Wait, let's circle back.
Yeah. So but yeah, I got sent a slew of posts that him liking a lot of different posts that are like from conservative pages. One specifically like when Trump was like one of his like achievements earlier in the election season, liked by Devin. Like, okay, that's
That's a
like
bummer.
it's like one thing to be like
That's a bummer.
conservative, but like another thing to be like, yay, I'm so
Yeah.
happy Donald
Yeah.
got something. And then like I saw one post, I didn't read through all of them. Like he liked one post where it was like a meme or something, and it was like, thank God my parents let me have a tomboy era in my teenhood without putting me on like hormone therapy.
Oh my
Like,
God.
and I'm just like, God, fucking. So you're transphobic too. Great, great.
Yeah.
Love that for all of us. So now I'm like pretty fucking pissed because I was like kind of
Yeah.
ready to throw my weight behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I need to
That's
fix my notes now.
Yeah.
But
No, it's fine. I mean, we well, like when we recap, we're also talking about like the edit we're giving, right? So
true.
like what
Yeah.
are we seeing on TV and like our
Hmm.
thoughts on like the television show, right?
it's like an ITM. We can go back and say how we were feeling in the moment
Yeah.
as if
Yeah.
we are now still there, even though our opinion has changed.
We like
Mm-hmm.
cut in. Also, just to let you know.
At the time, yeah. That's wild, actually. I totally did not get those vibes. And I also like wonder, I don't really know where Jen's at, like politically, like if this will come up. You'd think it would come up, honestly, off like early.
She said in
Hmm.
an interview on her Call Her Daddy interview that she asked the fantasy suite men, so I don't know if either of these men are in that.
It's
Um
far too late. The
yeah,
so
but that she asked the fantasy suite men who they voted for and what their credit score was. And I was like, my queen. And I feel like when you hear a woman say I asked the man who he voted for, I'm tending to typically believe she's probably on the progressive side, wanting to make sure she's not about to, marry or fuck a conservative. And
Yeah.
of course, it could be that she's conservative and she wanted to make sure the guy's aligned with her. I don't know. She hasn't. I've always, and as I said, I've been doing this for a long time.
She just doesn't want to pull a Becca
Exactly,
Cooper.
and
Yeah.
and that's why I feel like that's the energy, and so I'm gonna like support that. But
Right.
yeah, like in general, though, unfortunately, because Devin is a great example of that, is that
Hmm.
I've known this over the 7 years I've been doing this. Unless they explicitly tell you that they're progressive, you have to kind of assume anyone on this show, even like the nicest, coolest person,
Yeah.
yeah.
you could probably be like, okay, they're probably more progressive, but they do kind of have to tell us in some regard. And it could be as simple as like liking a Kamala post, and I'll be like, okay, I know where you stand. I wish you would maybe like advocate for like free Palestine, but least I know like where you are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you do kind of have to assume that it's probably the other way. And I feel like this Devin case is like, it's another great example of that. I mean, who's to say? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my
Gosh,
God. My mind
that's
is like blown.
I know. I'm reeling with this new information. I don't know. I have to process.
Yeah, did you say you wanted some trash? I brought you the
You
That
brought
was
the trash.
trash.
Oh, it was actually trash though.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, not just like some yummy thing to chew on.
Yeah, sometimes they like shiny fun things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's tragic. Okay. Um, I don't really have anything that trashy. I have a fun thing. I just saw that there was a photo posted on Instagram from, I believe it was Jeremy's account, of Jeremy and Austin, a little
Mm.
behind the scenes that we have missed. They had a little bathtub moment,
LOL.
and I thought that was very cute and also nice of them to post. Just in regards to Bachelor Nation in general, they're out there posting bathtub pics. Like, that's a bold choice for Bachelor, and I really appreciated it. So they got kudos from me. These guys are kind of hanging out in the background. Austin, Jeremy, I think they're the same guy,
Oh.
but
An
now I'm paying more
orgy.
attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only two here, but
Yeah.
Well, they both have
this could
bad
be
haircuts.
after.
Yeah. Bad
Yeah.
haircuts? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Austin
Yeah.
has like the mullet haircut, and Jeremy has that like 40-year-old dad haircut. It's insane.
So bad. Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on, my guy? It's aging you. You're 29.
I love the homoeroticism when it comes out in the show. It's one of my favorite subgenres and or whatever.
Subgenres.
So I don't, it's one of my favorite parts of the show is when the gay just like jumps out. And we wouldn't have known about this lovely bath. So thank you,
I
Jeremy.
know.
I appreciate
We've
it.
never officially had that. I'm waiting for the day, right? We've never had like two of the contestants on Bachelor or Bachelorette just afterwards be like, yeah, we had a thing.
No, we haven't. We've had a handful of women come out as like
Right.
bisexual since the
So there
show,
are
and obviously,
opportunities.
Gabby is one of the biggest ones. But I was just talking last week on my podcast about how like we actually haven't had a male come out publicly as
Mm,
bisexual or otherwise. Colton doesn't really count. He counts, but you know what I mean though. And you know just by numbers that there has to be bisexual men in the franchise, but yet no one's come out, and I think there's a lot of layered reasons for that. That is a nuanced conversation within the community. But yeah, and I mean, while I'm really hoping that we can get rid of a lot of the mockery that happens from the franchise, the way they mock that kind of shit, because they've done that before. They've made like bromances seem like whatever in a way that's like not fun and
mm.
not cute.
Yeah.
That I think adds to like the homophobia that I think a lot of men are afraid to experience and why they
Yeah.
haven't come out. And I wish that we would get away from that, but you know.
That would be fun. It would
Things
be
get
great
off.
to see. Great content.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. We need a male version, yeah, of Gabby. And then just come back to all the like tell-alls and everything like that. That would be amazing. We await the day.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I think it's shot o'clock time.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Fuck.
All right. Jenna, what do you have for your shot?
I have room temperature
Mm,
cheap bourbon whiskey.
Nice.
beautiful.
Love that.
Best enjoyed at room temperature.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and before I was doing YouTube, I used to just guests in the past would see me just like literally swig from the bottle that's right off camera. But I think you're not allowed to just do that on YouTube, so I had to start going to classes.
Well, give a little
What?
more pizzazz.
Yeah.
It really makes me sad because there'd be like the guests would just be like saying some amazing point, and I would just be like, and then they would start like laughing because they're like, "Did you just drink room temperature whiskey?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Nice. Very nice.
You're like, this is getting really good.
What is
This
Is
is
there
my
some kind of
podcast juice.
is there some kind of like open, not open carry? Wait, on YouTube you can't be drinking? What is that?
Yeah.
Open
I know. I thought maybe
bottle
I need
lost.
to research it. I bet if I wrapped the label and made it so it's just like not like
Oh,
promoting anything specifically, I probably could get away with it. But
gotcha.
Rach, what do you got to
Beautiful.
drink?
All right. I'm switching it up a little today. I also have some Jim Beam whiskey, room
Ooh.
temperature.
okay, great.
But today I am chasing it I got fancy with a barrel-aged maple syrup shot,
Ooh.
which I think is going to be really good. I'm excited.
That's nice.
Leveling up each week.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my good old faithful. Oh wait, not
No,
supposed
it's
to
fine.
show it.
I think it's good. A quick little show.
Hornitos Plata tequila because I'm a tequila girly.
Oh.
And my chaser, last time I had a strawberry to chase, and today I'm having cantaloupe. So
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
you're going downhill. You're
I
supposed
love
to be getting better.
no, the cantaloupe's it's very juicy as well. It's
No, cantaloupe is
delicious.
like only a step above honeydew. It's like one of the
What?
worst.
No way. I love honeydew.
All
Are you
right,
not a
well,
melon girl?
I'm not.
Oh
We'll do another podcast on that.
Okay.
All right. Is it shot
Fair enough.
o'clock?
Shot o'clock time, ladies.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Shot o'clock.
Oh my God.
Honestly, the mouthful of maple syrup was like more shocking than I expected.
Yeah.
It took like a whole shot worth.
Yeah, when you lifted, I was like, "That's a lot of syrup."
This cantaloupe is delicious though. It saved me. Wow.
That's good. I think I'm gonna feel the sugar rush more than the whiskey.
But that's good. Oh my God.
Ooh.
Can I pick a bone with Sam M again? Because I'm
Yeah,
gonna be on his ass like fucking a
Let's get in.
tick.
we're here for it.
And is that when he famously came out of the limo, it was like shot o'clock. He didn't even have a shot. It was like the stupidest thing. And then he like the rest of the night was like, oh my God, no one's ever gonna like top my like very clever like thing that I did where like I totally referenced the thing she said on her like after the final rounds. And then it was like two other men came up and did it and they had things to shoot.
Like the only good thing Brian did was he had like the shots, the tequila, like he was all in and he was party mood too. I was like, okay, that's how you do shot o'clock.
Yeah,
Not
like
where like Sam was like, hey, it's shot o'clock. And she's like, okay, great. Like, where's the tequila? No tequila.
like what the fuck? Like immediately then go
Immediately
home.
sent home. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You come back with liquor or you don't come back.
Yeah, don't fucking play.
Okay, anyway. So let's get into it, I guess, right? Week 4 of The
Yes.
Bachelorette's journey to
Mhm.
find a fuckboy.
I
We want
am
more for Jen.
so excited.
Ooh.
All right, guys. So we are in New Zealand still. Oh wait, no, we are in New Zealand now. We were in
Yeah.
Australia last time.
Mhm.
We see Sam M talking about Devon again. What a surprise. Jesse and Jen are also chatting and they're feasting on some delicious food. And he reveals that he was the one that ruined the one-on-one dinner time because he would eat all the food during the dates. Did you guys see the flashbacks? It was disgusting.
It was bad. I mean, I understand now. They have all those things, Love is Blind, like, oh, they don't feed us and blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's so horrible. I'm like, now I understand. If it's that or Jesse talking with his mouth open, like we're on a better path. We're on the
It's like,
better timeline.
bro is eating a corn on the cob. I was just like, where is this coming from?
The
Like,
corn on the cob was wild.
and then there was another shot. He was like shirtless in a hot tub chewing. I think I don't know
Oh
why
my
else he would be
gosh.
shirtless. 'Cause I didn't watch that season. Now I need to. Like,
I know.
need to watch it. But it was so fucking funny.
And he was like talking with his mouth full with like food particles spraying out. It was insane. I'm like, my sir, my good man. Like, who
He's
taught
lucky
you
the internet
manners?
wasn't as big back then or whatever.
God,
Because like we would have been on him.
Yeah, truly.
There's no internet. Probably. I have no idea.
There's
Yeah.
no internet.
Bill Gates hadn't created it yet.
This is before internet.
Okay, so we go ahead and then we see that the boys are just apparently waiting outside together, eating or drinking at a restaurant, and then she invites Sam M on the one-on-one. And I was like, ugh. I mean, I guess I saw it coming, but whatever. I was like, you could have done better.
I was a little
Um,
surprised because like do they usually do? Yeah, I guess they usually do a one-on-ones before they go on the two-on-run, right? I feel like they're
Yeah.
destined for a two-on-one, so it's like we got to get that in. We got to get both their one-on-ones in.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Um, side
No,
note.
but
I
guess
think
my-
Sam M and Devin would actually like bond with like MAGA buddies if they just knew about that part.
Really. No, and exactly. And until I found that out today, I was just like, wait a second, actually, wait, you guys would be
You guys
fucking
could be besties.
besties. But also like I do think that's interesting as somebody who's like I could be wrong that this maybe has happened some other time before, but often a lot of 2-on-1 rivalries are filled with another man who's never gotten a one-on-one date, I think, you know? And so
Mm,
it is interesting that like they're kind of like the hangers on where a lot of times during the 2-on-1 all of us at home are like, buddy, you're not gonna like you might win this round, but you're not
right.
gonna win, right?
Yeah.
Um so I do find it fascinating that they gave them both one-on-ones with
Yeah.
the inevitable
It was so,
2-on-1
yeah,
coming.
so strange. I mean, that also kind of shows, I guess that they could both be like hardcore front runners because I also feel like the 2-on-ones, like, they're not necessarily like the front runners, I
Yeah,
guess you could
that's a good
say.
point. You're right. You're
Yeah.
like, yeah, somebody might have already had a one-on-one date, but they're not like, yeah, like a front runner. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
But I had high hopes that Sam M was gonna fuck up this date, and I was close.
High
We're
hopes that he would fall off, maybe. No,
Her bar for him is so low. It's like sad. You're like, if it was just a little bit higher, he wouldn't have passed, but
damn.
Oh my
so
gosh.
upsetting.
Yeah. And so we see Devin as ITM. He says that I hope they have to actually have a conversation, like an actual conversation with words, and she'll see right through him. I'm like, yeah, exactly, right? Let's do it.
It sounds like a
Um,
good theory.
so they end up going to the 360 view of Auckland. Poor Jen, first of all, because literally she already had to deal with like jumping off a fucking plane, and now she has to like jump off a building. I would hate my
Okay.
producers. What the fuck?
I feel like she chose, like, she knows what the date's gonna be, right? Like, she knows they're gonna jump off a building.
I
I
don't
feel like they set it up in a way of like, oh, I was just not buying because I'm like, she literally, like you said, she jumped out of a plane. Like, why is she all of a sudden? I feel like she was gonna do it either way, but she was like testing him, and they're like, oh yeah, his whole storyline is like he's, I don't know, too pushy, not emotional enough with her or whatever. And it was just like a big test for him. But like, I wasn't really buying that she was actually that scared, to
really?
be
That's
honest.
interesting. Jenna, what do
I
you
don't,
think?
Because I agree with you because very subtly when she's still on the ground with the men, she's like, "Oh my god, look at that building!" Ugh, and everyone's like, "Oh god, I hope no one just jump off of that." She's like, "Me neither," but like it was almost like she knew, right? Like
Oh
she,
my God.
yeah.
like if I have to go to that building, obviously I'm gonna have to jump. Like she
I'm
did
so naive.
reference it, so it was like a little tell, and then yeah, I think I oof, I don't want to believe that she was in on the bit per se as much, but yeah, I see it. I see
Oh
it.
my
Like,
gosh. I'm so
yeah,
naive. I feel like just because I'm also like a girly that's like not a fan of heights, I would be like, and like that's literally what she was doing. I think she was like about to cry, like tick. That's what I would have done.
true. She might have been like, "Oh, it was funny," and then now it's not funny.
Yes.
Like, I could have maybe seen that. I could, or not funny, but like, yeah, like I am gonna test him, and then
She's
but
like, oh
then like she saw
shit.
how like far he went with it and then also got up there. People who watched my Instagram stories, like I was live reacting, I actually was getting like ill from it. I am pretty afraid of heights too, and I like couldn't watch like most of it. It
Yeah.
was horrific. Like it was one of the worst ones. Like they've propelled down sides of buildings and I've like been fine with it, but this one they kept just like angling it and like
And like they
seeing the
had like
feet.
the close up views of like the person grabbing a rope. I'm like, oh.
And he's
Yeah.
like
It's like,
behind her, like I'm like I do not trust this man enough to not just like fucking like be like doing one of those things like, babe, I'm just like kind of like tossing you, but I'm not really tossing you, babe. You know those guys who.
Watch there be like cut footage of him like jumping behind her. Do you feel that?
yeah.
Oh my god, seriously, I'm fucking livid.
I definitely thought at one point, I'm like, oh, he's about to push her. Like, they're all strapped in, she'll be fine. But like, he's just gonna push her.
And
Bruh.
that's I think like if anyone's listening who didn't watch it, like that's how much of a dick he was being. Whether it was like Jen was in on
Yeah.
it or not, he was being
He was
such a
being so
shitbag.
I would have been like, okay, we're done. Like, let's do this actually. Let's not walk or jump. Let's end this date now. You're being sent home. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? If it were any other guy that was acting like that, she probably would have been like, okay, like this isn't gonna work out, I think. Let me like walk you home or whatever. But because she had like such like physical like chemistry with him, she's like, okay, I guess like we'll keep him along or whatever. But I do genuinely think that she was like pissed off with him, and I was pissed off with him too.
Yeah. He was not like he was not really like working with her emotion at all. He was just like, no, you can do it. And like I think he thought that he was being like inspirational,
Yeah,
but it was
he's
not
probably
that. He was
thinking
not
that.
reading the room. Yeah.
He's like, don't worry, you'll look back on this and you'll be so happy that we did it together. And I just think it's so important for me too, because then when I look back on it, then I'll think it's such an amazing experience that I had. I'm like, it's not about you. God.
He was like,
I kind of
when my future wife and I are looking back on this day, I'm gonna be so proud of her. And I'm like, me looking at my future husband, going like, I wish he had listened to my fucking like consent
Yeah.
on that day.
that was the first red flag. No, not the
No,
first.
I mean,
Not the first thing. I
Yeah,
feel like,
it's
oh my God, do you guys also notice like the guy, or the waiter guy? I don't know. He was
mhm.
whatever, but he was like, "Oh, you guys can jump off or you guys can walk." And she was like, "Oh, I think we'll walk." And then Sam and was like, "No, we'll jump." And then the waiter guy was like, "Okay, jump." I'm like, "Fuck you, waiter guy," because it's also his fault too. He should be consenting to the lady, the poor.
But I think that just goes to Rachel's point that it was all a little like put on.
she's
Yeah, exactly. Oh, this is an interesting
I
take.
think, I mean, I think she was gonna do it. She wanted to see how he would react if she was scared. He reacted badly, and so she was like, I'm just gonna keep holding out basically until you react well. And then I think she did get genuinely emotional just because of how badly he was reacting. Like,
Yeah,
Hmm.
are you
that's a good
serious?
point.
Like, I'm in
Yeah.
this situation and like, yeah.
I
So
like assumed you might do better and you really showed me like that you didn't. But then spoiler to everybody, eventually he like is like, "Babe, don't worry about it. Like don't
Yeah,
jump. Like don't
I
jump if you
guess.
want." And then
Yeah.
she's like,
Okay, I'll jump.
okay,
that's all
I'll
I
jump."
needed.
It's like, "God
I
damn
know. I'm
it."
like,
uh,
so
she's like, "I
close.
just really like that he finally acknowledged my feelings." It's like the fact okay, oh my god. Oh
We're
my
so close.
god.
Yeah.
And then they fucking like grind on each other on a table, like
Yeah.
looking at the death tower, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I hate all of this.
Yeah.
Jen, stand
Okay.
up.
Also, I feel like when they jumped, it wasn't even like a free falling jump. I felt like it was a nice slow glide down.
No, low key, actually, after everything we just said, I was like, it was nothing.
I know.
I see that. You can do it, Jenna.
I could do it. I was like,
I
you
was
know
like, oh,
what?
that actually looks fun.
No, it's just so real.
It's like an elevator, escalator, but outside.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So
I know.
funny.
I was like, okay, that's something I probably would have done. If I like I don't know, it just looks like the first person outside the window when they saw somebody like just randomly drop on the window. I'm like, what the hell? And then I was like, oh no, it's gonna be fast. But then when they went, there's like, wee.
Like, I hated that at the end she was like, wow, I'm so glad I did that, so I don't regret it. I was
I
like,
know.
damn
Like,
it.
don't feed into it.
Yeah.
God. Ugh. Now he's gonna be like, see, weren't you so happy that you did it?
I just like that really makes me mad. Like that really, I hate shit like that because
Mm-hmm.
like I, I'm not. We don't know this man, but like I just know men like him, and
No. Except Thomas. Don't get me started on Thomas right
yeah.
now.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
But then yeah, no, and then yeah, he's just gonna continue to push your boundaries.
Yeah.
Like if like he saw that he could
Yeah.
do it once, like that's how that's gonna be, girl. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and those times like that where I'm like, oh, having a 26-year-old bachelorette is not a good idea.
Yeah. It's kind of like that saying where it's like, ask for forgiveness later kind of thing. That's like the motto that he's in, I think. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
not a fan.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Um,
group date.
so yeah, group date. We also find out that Devin gets a one-on-one. And then we find out who's going on the group date. Then we go to the night portion. Okay, I just had to point out this one line and I'm over. I don't even know what the fuck happened in that group date or the nighttime portion actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
one part where they're just walking to like the table or whatever, and Jenna's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so pretty here." And then like he's looking at her and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Nothing. I just like you." And she's like, "Oh my God, you do?" And he's like, "I mean, you're right." I'm like, "Ugh, God." It's just like such douchebag behavior. I'm so over it.
Yeah.
Over it.
Oh God. Like seriously, it's the worst.
It reminds me of what was it? F Boy Island or F Girl Island. There was this guy Casey, and he was just like constantly like, I don't know, I might take you on a date, but I have to like talk to someone else first. Like this behavior, I hate it. As if he
Yeah.
has other options. He's on The Bachelorette. Like it's not like there's another girl waiting for him.
I know. You think he'd be trying harder.
Hmm
I wonder if he's maybe in some kind of small closet room.
Small closet
And
room.
anyway, I'm not gonna go down that path. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, it was gross. And I was like, who wants to bet like his like trauma is like his grandma died? Like, like I just was like, like nothing at all. Like they made him take like a COVID vaccine and I was like really sad about it.
I was fired.
And instead I think he fucking pilfered Spencer's. It was like the identical
Right?
thing. And
I
I
was
was like,
like,
You're
I
not
thought I
believing
heard this
it?
story
I
before.
don't know if I believe. I know, and I was like, I don't think I don't believe it. I'm gonna be a conspiracy theorist, and I'm gonna say I don't fucking believe it. I want that ex fiance to come forward, and
Yeah.
I need to know if that happened because I
Show
don't
the
believe it.
receipts.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we didn't get like to hear you were engaged and then it deteriorated. It could be a red flag. Like, why did it deteriorate? He said there was another guy, I guess, but I mean, it seemed vague to the point of
It
like
was so vague.
to use the
Mhm.
Spencer
word
had
deteriorated.
like Spencer had like kind of like a story about it that I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I believe that happened to you. This one I was like, no, 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 no. Jen just told you that her dad was a piece of shit and you felt like you had to say something
Mhm.
and then you said that. I don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
know. Mm-mm.
And I felt like he didn't really react to her story at all, actually. He was like, I also have sadness, and then just like tells a different story. It's like
He hasn't
they're
like
not
even
really the
asked her.
same.
Yeah, no, he's never even like asked her a legit question, I feel like. I feel
Yeah.
like there's been like no actual conversation that, you know what I mean? But she just like she feels like after that story, she's like, "Oh my God, so he really does know what marriage is all about. And I know he's ready." It's like, no.
She's like talking about not feeling worthy of love because her dad didn't pay attention to her. And then he's like, I also understand love because I was engaged in it and cheated on. It's like, okay, vague, loosely love is involved in both of those, but like that's a stretch. I'm not giving it to him.
No. Oh my god.
Ugh.
Anyway.
He does get a rose though, which is very disappointing. And then they're
Yeah.
always making out. I think this is a red flag. If you can't make out and like stay in your seat, like stay in your location, if you have to go to a
Yeah.
second location, no, bets are off.
Agreed. Agreed.
Oh,
Uh,
I did note here that she said that she's falling for him, which, as far as we see, that's the only guy that she said that to. She doesn't say it to Devin either, as
Ooh,
far
bummer.
as we
Yeah.
see, which is a bummer.
I know. Hard hit.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Um, okay, so after this, we go ahead and we go to our group date. We see that it's a rugby date. I'm surprised we didn't get any ambulance footage on this. I'm kind of disappointed. That's like a yearly thing.
Yeah.
Um, we get to see a haka, which I love. I have always loved to like hakas. It's like such a fun tradition.
I love that.
And then after that, okay, Sam N is being more forward with his time. It's so weird. Sam N, it's like literally last episode, he was like this little puppy dog that was like, I'm so sorry, you guys. I know I said the wrong thing. And he's like hiding behind the shadow and like Devin's protecting him. And now he's like, "Ugh," like ripping open he's not ripping open his shirt, but like that's the macho like vibe he's giving basically is like, no one's gonna fuck with me, motherfuckers. And it's like, where did this come from? I was so like confused. I'm like, is this another plant?
Someone that was such a 180. I'm like,
180.
someone got in his ear. It's like the way that he left and he was like, wait, I'm so confused. Like, I feel like someone was telling him, like, you're her, like, she secretly is like in love with you. You're her favorite.
Mm.
Like, you got to go get the kiss tonight. She thinks you're such a stud. We'll put you in like this nice jacket. Fuck all the other guys. Like, they don't even matter. She already told me, like, you're going to win. Like, I feel like someone was hyping him
The
up
fucking
because
jacket though.
such a 180.
It's
Yeah.
so
And then like for
funny.
him to feel so blindsided when he was
Yeah.
leaving, it was almost like, oh, I was just tricked by like
Okay.
production, not like by Jen, because she was not giving him any signs.
Oh my
That's my
God.
take.
I was like, also, I'm so confused how he's not just a virgin in general. Because like he's
Well,
saying
that's
that
not
he
specified.
Like he's saying like, oh, the first kiss is like so like important to me, and I've never been in love before, never had a girlfriend before. So I'm like, okay, so he's a fuckboy. Okay, whatever. But like at the same time, he's like moving around like so weirdly and so awkwardly. I'm like, how did you even get anybody to sleep with you in the first place? I was so
No, so
confused.
true, so true. Yeah, and then Jen was kind of like, well, what he deserves a first kiss from somebody who likes him, um, and but then that got in my ear too. I was like, first kiss, like, are we talking about a kiss virgin again? Because I feel like there was on Matt James's season maybe or something. There was that girl Heather or what? I don't really know.
Yeah, you're
I,
right.
yeah, who never had a kiss because we've had. Listen, folks, we've had a lot of virgins on this
All
fucking
kinds of virgins.
show. So many virgins. And some turned out to be gay. Becca Tilly and Colton Underwood.
There you go.
Both famously virgins who were actually gay. But and I'm holding out for Heather, but I just whatever. But yeah, I was like, what? But I kind of along with you on Tati. I feel like he probably has fucked. He probably has kissed, but he's really putting this like importance on more of like this the romance and the connection or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But he is awkward, so maybe not.
I know. It's very interesting. I was just like, I don't even trust he has like no game. And you're right, Rach, because like someone had to be hyping him up. They're like,
Hmm.
come on, man, you got this. Like those guys in the locker rooms before a game. Come on, man, chest bumping him like on the side.
Yeah.
Because you just see the producer hyping him up. He's like, you
Yeah.
got this, my dog.
Like there's no drama on this group date. Like we gotta make someone
When
go
he says he has a
insane.
dog in me, it's like a producer said that. He's like, I think you have a dog in you.
I see a little dog in you.
There's like
They
a
start barking at each other. Like,
Anyone ever told you? Can you imagine?
Oh
I
my
was also
god.
like, did someone give this man coke? Like the way he's strutting around,
No,
the
okay,
level of
like
confidence.
right, and like not comprehending what anyone is saying to him because it was like
Yeah.
later on when Jonathan's like, "Listen, buddy, you came in with your trophy, the group's trophy, by the way, but you just like commandeered it, and you like put it on a seat. You do all this bullshit." And like Jonathan very astutely is like, that has nothing to do with Jen. She's not here. You did all of that to fuck with us. And then literally Sam's like, so you're just mad at me because I took Jen first? It's like he literally said none of that. Like you're right. Like he's high or something. Like he has no concept of like what is being said right now. He's so insane.
Yeah, he's on one for sure. It's a
Oh,
little, it doesn't make sense, his behavior. I would say it's not sober behavior.
yeah, definitely. It was very but okay, hear me out.
Wait, sorry. He keeps saying he has bad bitch. Like, where is he getting these terms? He's like, I got bad
TikTok.
bitch
TikTok. Because
energy.
he's a TikToker. Did you guys see this? He's one of the first we've ever had who does TikTok skits. He's not a influencer who happened to be on the show. He does like POV skits that are like
Ew.
We
fully
talked about the
Oh, you
necklace
know,
one.
multi-shot. Yeah,
yeah,
like
did you see the
multi-shot.
necklace one?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Ugh,
great. Oh my god.
yeah.
So
Ugh.
I think that he's on TikTok chronically. So he's like, I'm a certified like he's like I'm a
Mhm.
bad bitch. Like he's using all I would be surprised if there weren't like a lot of other cuts on the floor, the cutting room floor of him like being like saying just all the most random TikTok genre like audio things.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my gosh.
That
Now,
makes the necklace thing now, that makes sense. When I first
yeah.
saw that and we didn't know him, I was like, that is odd. But now I'm like, that's completely on character for him.
Yeah. Oh, Rach, tell the people who we don't know about the necklace thing. What was that again?
Essentially the necklace TikTok is a POV of him pretending to give a necklace with a camera in it to a girl as a gift, and then going home and turning on his TV and like watching her view from the necklace.
Ugh,
And it's supposed to be a comedy, but not even intentionally like a dark comedy, just like a normal comedy.
No, he was like, because his whole thing is like he has a couple other TikToks where it's just like, oh, when you find somebody just as possessive and obsessive as you, or like POV, or dating a man who's obsessed with you, and it's like all these shots of him like coming around the corner, like looking at you. It's like
That's his brand.
this is
It's his
not at all what women want. Like it's like violent. It's like,
He's
Yeah.
watched too much You. He's like, gosh, women love that guy.
Yeah.
oh my
Honestly.
god,
Honestly.
His
attractive.
hero.
Like Penn Badgley.
Yikes. Okay.
Okay. What did you guys think about the whole like Thomas or trying to confront him? Like I was like, Thomas, go sit your ass down. What the fuck?
Thomas literally came up. He's like, Sam, come over here. I want to talk to you. And then they stand there, and he goes, ding ding. He takes one of his rings and clinks it on the glass to get.
And then he takes like a big ass sigh. He's like,
So I just didn't want to let you know my thoughts on. And then to Sam's like credit, he's like, buddy, no, like this is
yeah,
not at all what you should be doing. Go talk to Jenn. Have you seen Jenn at all tonight?
yeah.
Like loser. And yeah. Anyway, it was quite funny to me.
It was, yeah.
He gives me teacher vibes. Like, I don't know, whenever he pulls someone aside, I'm like, oh, lame. It was like, the teacher is going to tell me to stop. Such a narc.
Honestly, I mean, I'm kind of sick of Thomas, and like I had high hopes for him episode 1, and it ended real quick.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, like that would be cute, whatever. But I mean, all he does is just bitch, whine, and complain. And I'm just like over it at this point. And like, I don't know what he's trying to do to make an effort to confront like problem people, quote in quotes, because it's like for what? Like so you can get your screen time? Like I don't understand what the purpose is. And like you said, Jenna, like I mean, hats off to Sam because like he was like, I'm not dealing with this. Peace out. And then Sam interrupts him later on in his conversation.
Oh my god. Yeah. And then Jenn just like sends him home. Oh my god, it was so brutal.
Bruh,
Oh,
puppy.
that was one of the more brutal. Like, he
The
just seems so
silence.
surprised. I'm so confused how he was so surprised, but like, she's kissed everyone else but him, right?
Yeah, I pretty much I would think so.
Maybe Austin is the only one. I'm not sure, but yeah, it cannot be shocking. Oh, it's just so sad.
Yeah, the
I
silence
don't
was
know.
so loud
I
when
don't know
he
why I
was
feel bad. It's just like I don't know if he's a bad person. I think he's just like immature. Like I do feel bad for him because I don't know that he's a bad person.
He's just a
I'm
weirdo.
yeah,
He's
it's
just
just
like
his
he's just
vibe.
watched the wrong couple videos online and he just thinks this is like how it's supposed to be and it's just like buddy.
He's like, I'm just like John Travolta, guys.
Yeah.
I
What's
don't
his color?
understand this thing with the guys. I don't think this for women, where like they always feel like they have to be like teaching some like, oh, that guy's not being man or he's not doing something right. I need to like sit him down and tell him like, hey, just so you know, everyone thinks you're being weird. Like, what is that? It happens like every season where the guys are like, I need to tell this man how to act. And it never goes well.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's mind-boggling because if you think about it, like for example, in that conversation, like Thomas was literally telling Sam to shut up. Like why would you think telling somebody to shut up would make them respect you in the first place and want to shut up in the, you know what I mean? Like, well, that's not gonna happen. And if that were to happen like in Bachelor where the women contestants are talking to each other like that's not gonna happen. Like in general, women,
Yeah.
I feel like they don't talk to each other like that. And if they were, ooh, that would be like, nope, you're not gonna tell me that. And like that would be a whole thing too. But yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
What do we okay, so Sam leaves. He's confused.
Yeah.
Marcus, we didn't really talk about the Marcus's date, but she manages to like get him emotional because she's trying to like get him to open up, and he ends up getting the group date rose, and then he's like crying, and then the guys are like, respect, man. I guess they think that he's like really touched to have gotten the rose, so they're happy about that.
Yeah, respect, my brother.
I've seen some stuff online about Marcus, so I don't want to say anything I regret, but based on the edit, I'm like, oh, I'm like, I feel like he's got a lot of repressed stuff, and I feel bad that this
He
is
needs
hard for
therapy.
him. Yeah.
So true. Yeah, he's a considering I have seen the same thing, so I do not want to
Tell
say
me.
So there's alleged maybe essay stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, but he is also like he definitely suffers under the patriarchy. Like all of his shit has been to me just like a
Yeah.
screaming example of just like I can't quit. I have to be this
Yeah.
army man. I have to, you know. It's like, dude.
Severe PTSD.
Yeah, and so like, and I get, and I have empathy for that, but like, I don't really think I don't trust him. I don't like him.
Well, that's what Rachel and I said. We're like anything associated with army, military, anything like that. We're just like,
No,
okay.
like, it's like whatever, but and the show will always do that. The show will always prop up those people, but I'm just like, I'm not here for it. I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I'm sorry you got hurt, but I'm also like, you are committing war crimes. Like, I'm
Yeah.
exaggerating, but like I
Yeah.
don't. Not for me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally. I
So
definitely
hard.
think
Yeah.
he
People just
needs like
get,
therapy
Yeah.
in general.
Well, no, and that's
yeah.
the thing is like I do have yeah like he needs help,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And I hope he gets it. I hope he gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor
Anyway.
guy.
1 year therapy from the TV show, right?
Yeah, that's funny that they pointed that out. I'm like, are they getting paid to say that?
Oh
Okay.
man.
So then we get this one-on-one with Devin,
Yeah.
which was fun. She kind of sets it up by saying like she is Vietnamese and Buddhist, and so she wants to share more about her culture, but also like make sure that whoever she's going to marry is going to be open to having like sharing that culture with her kids and things like that. They go and get like danced at a lot, which I love the dances. I think it's so funny how they insist on like having like this like no reaction. I'm like, you can smile. Like this is like a fun thing, but I just thought it was so funny that like it's just them being danced at and then they're just like standing there like stone faced. I'm like, guys, like making it more awkward.
I thought
I
it was
love
a
it.
cool date. I thought it was very interesting, but like I couldn't help but think, I'm like, and this is of course pre um Devin realization. I was like, okay, she's like letting everybody know that she's Buddhist, et cetera, and whatever. And I'm thinking like, oh, Sam M wouldn't like that, because like hardcore Christianity guy or whatever the case is probably. But now I'm wondering what Devin's thinking.
No, I know it. Now it makes me like you're right. Like because he came off on this date like so great. Like he
Right?
did. He was
Yeah.
saying, and so, oh, God, that is. I'm just gonna have to interview him somehow. That's not gonna happen. The show will not let me. But yeah, no, it is such a mind fuck because he really was
Right?
like so like I'm really glad we got to like appreciate this culture, not like appropriate it, and all these different things, and like was. We found out he's like his dad is Latino. Like
Yes.
I had no idea.
There's like
Like
substance in his words, and he
right?
was like affirming Jen so much. I was like, oh, what a king.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that because I guess maybe I'll do more
Now I
research.
know why Sam's parents are mad.
I know. Well, the thing is, when you talked about that earlier, it was like when you said the free speech, as mom mentioned, like free speech, I was like, red flag.
Yeah,
Anyone who talks about free speech is usually bitching and moaning about it in a way that's like not applicable.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think they're birds of a feather. They should stick together.
Do you think like his parents were saying, oh, they cut out all this stuff to make people look like kings? Like what if Devin was saying like crazy like or doing bad things on that? Like he was really being like super offensive and they just made it seem like he was like, wow, I love this culture. Like,
Iconic, yeah.
that'd be great. Where's that footage?
No, like give me the Devon racism
Yeah.
footage. He's like, wow, these brown people, like I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. Wait, you know what? They're nice. They gave me food, and they just cut all of it.
There was a big feast at the end that they seemed to just sit down at and then walk away from.
Yeah, they
So
started
who
making
knows what
out.
happened?
He's like, oh, it's a little too spicy for me.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, our children can be part Buddhist, but they're also going to be Christian, and they're also going to. Oh my god.
I mean, might be. I feel like religiously he could be anything because I do feel like MAGA supporters, lots of Trump. Trump's not like Christian. There's like a definitely a section of those people that are just like wild cards and they're
So
passionate
true.
about other things.
Right.
No, totally. I could see that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so true.
Um,
fascinating.
all right, then Devin gets the rose. I mean, oh wait, they talked about some interesting things later on in the night portion. Basically, long story short, they kind of bond over their moms and how strong their moms are. And how strong like Jen's mom is for like being a single mom, and how she doesn't like talk to her dad anymore. So we just learn a little bit more about that for the most part. And Devin is reacting appropriately and just being really sweet about it, basically.
Right.
And I was like, that's really awesome. I was really happy to see it. I'm like, wow, I hope, Devin's the real one and da da da. I'm like, okay, whatever. So
But
now,
she, like, we talked before about how she was, I don't know, she seemed very guarded in like basically all her other interactions that we've seen so far. Like, she hasn't really like cried when people were talking to her. Like,
yeah,
Marcus, like his story, we were like, whoa, that's crazy. And she's just like, kind of like, wow, I'm sorry that happened to you.
So
And
true.
like,
I
and
know.
so I felt like here, like, this is the most, I mean, she starts crying and like getting choked up and everything. Like, this is the most emotional we've seen her, which I felt like was a really good sign for Devin.
And she also did that with Sam. And I feel like in both cases, what I found very interesting, especially in Sam's, where he eventually like stole Spitzer's like trauma. But the first like truly like 3 minutes of it was Jen just like unleashing all of her trauma to the point where I was like, if this man does not give a trauma, I'm gonna be like screaming and shitting and throwing up because like did he just like somehow gaslight her into only sharing her emotional like baggage and not provide any of his? Like that would be fucking crazy. But I was like kind of here for it. I was like, wow, that will be wild to see a man like literally just like skate by completely. But yeah, in both cases she like opens up deeply and cries a ton. And it's like I love Jen. I've been a stan from the fucking second I saw
Yeah.
her bio on
Hmm.
Joey's season. But
Mhm.
because I'm her best friend that she doesn't know I exist. I can say like, girl, it's just like it's so she's just like she just so cutely knows her issues from her shitty dad,
Yeah.
yet still hasn't seemingly changed it if she's like still liking the way these men are like treating her. And it's not her fault. I don't want anyone to think I'm saying that, but it's like
Yeah.
I just am like, oh, you have a little bit more work to do.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, she also needs therapy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that she's attracted, like Sam sounds like her toxic exes, I would assume. Like he does this thing where he like pushes her away sometimes, like keeps her, oh, like you're kind of okay, whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what she's talking about.
Right.
Ugh.
Mm.
Um, okay. Now we get
Speaking
into
of
a little bit.
exes.
Yes, speaking of exes,
Ugh.
we see Jesse. Um, and he's basically introducing that there's this mysterious man from Jen's past that's gonna join them. And we find, first of all, what do you guys think of the first reaction when you saw this man pull up?
Like of what he looks like.
Yeah, I was so underwhelmed.
He looks like that guy from Shameless, but like kind of knockoff version, like
Oh,
Costco, Kirkland
yeah.
Yes,
version.
that's
Yeah,
good.
I see it.
that was my only thought.
And I don't mean
Yeah.
to like judge on like how he looks or whatever, but I was just like so like shook because I don't know. I mean, I just feel like Jen can do better with, certain people.
Yeah.
Well, they dated 3 or 4 years ago, so
For only
you
three
know,
months.
I know,
right?
but
But
then
maybe he's
so yeah, okay. Did you guys listen to her Call Her Daddy episode?
no.
No.
Yeah, so I did a real one for everyone to listen to it because I fucking hate that woman. Um
Ooh.
no, I don't hate her, but it's fine.
Alex Cooper.
Yeah, I'm just like not for me. But so I listened and she mentions this guy and she talks about how like he's just like this great friends with benefits that she dated years ago, right? The story checks out, supposedly. They dated for a brief period, broke up. She had some other toxic shit, blah blah blah. But she like they would like keep in touch and like hook up again. And then after she was on Joey's season during the downtime before being announced as the Bachelorette, she rehooked up with him and they were gonna travel together
Oh, is
and go
that
to
the
a
weddings he
wedding.
was mentioning?
Yeah, and they were gonna go to weddings. And then she got the call, so she went on the show. And I was like just like listening to that episode, just like, oh, that's so fun. I love this story. No, not thinking anything. We were so got. Like I think it is true, maybe, but like it's just like funny that of course like she obviously recorded that episode of Call Her Daddy after the show,
Oh yeah,
you know.
knowing what was
So
gonna
like
happen.
it was clearly a setup, and I will say like props to them. Like I'm like, okay, I see what you guys did. But it was pretty funny when I when I put all of it together. I was like, "Oh my god, I feel got." Like
Wait,
I got.
what was the context of her sharing that story on Call Her Daddy? Like just,
Alex
oh,
was just
let me
like
tell you a story
asking,
about an ex.
yeah, like Alex was asking
Oh.
about all her exes and like her dating history. So she talked about this shitty ex that's like not this man
Mm-hmm.
and
Hmm.
like whatever, which I also thought was pretty great of Jen in general when like she did this voiceover and she's like, just so you guys know, this man
That
isn't
was
the
good.
toxic one
Yeah.
that I talked
Props.
about, and I was like, okay, I love this. I like when there's like a narrative that I can like, okay, we're checking it.
We're all wondering.
Yeah, exactly. She's the main character, and good for her. She is the main character.
Yeah.
Like she has a whole storyline, and that's why it was so smart for him to put her on Call Her Daddy, because it was such a great way to like get to know her. Right? I already knew about her shitty dad. I knew about her brother. I knew about her mom. I knew about everything about this woman. Because I'm a
Hmm.
stan. Anyway, but
You know the lore.
yeah, I know the lore, and it's fucking perfect. It made so like I was texting my friend. I was like, I kind of love this, and I know a lot of people, and you guys can disagree, of course, like if this whole thing is like worthy of our time, but like I kind of love it.
I wish that I had that experience. Like, I love the idea of like the multiverse idea of like you heard this on a podcast and you're like, wait, it's that guy. And like
That guy.
then you'll see someone, yeah, like and you just know about her whole life. I think I would have appreciated more there. I mean, I feel like it's fine. I feel like he's gonna get kicked off of the next rose ceremony. It's gonna be
Right.
kind of like Aaron B or whatever came back on like Charity's thing and it was like, okay, that's not really happening. Like we all
Yeah.
know. I did think like in terms of how he got there, he says I love you and she's like, "Well, come on."
I
Like
know, she was
he
like,
never said that
"Fuck
and
you."
I'm like, "Okay." That seems like that's the first time he's ever said that. Like so
100%.
that felt a little like fake to me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. He was just like saying things just to like be there, and he's also probably freaking out that he's on TV. This man also looks wrecked. He's like, this is not my time zone right now. I'm supposed to be sleeping at like 3 a.m., but like the sun's in my eye, and I'm just gonna talk to her and tell her that I love her. And then even like in the promo that you see for next episode, you kind of see him kind of like just like bullshitting, like saying the same thing, like I'm here for you, and like it's just like I don't think she's gonna get much out of it. However, if she wants him to stay, let him stay because like she needs to make sure all her doubts or whatever, she needs to figure it out. I don't think there's any harm with having him come on. We saw like Austin like saying how it's not fair to the other guys, but I'm like, well, excuse me, sir, I didn't know this was the Bachelor Austin show. I thought it was the Bachelor Jen. Oh.
Also, who are you, Austin? Like the one guy she hasn't kissed yet.
Oh my god, it's so true. I like, yeah, it's interesting because like, did you guys watch? I mean, Becca Kufrin season.
I did.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so they were like pretty far in their journey. So international again, but like
Mhm.
Jen's doing international early, so it's like interesting. But anyway, Becca was like in Egypt, I think, or something. They were like pretty far into the journey, and the producers brought her ex like fiance
Oh my
Oof.
God, I
to,
totally
and
forgot
like
about that.
yeah, and like he knocked on her door. It was like fantasy suites time. I think she had just fucked Ari.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
god, or whatever. I don't know. Wait, was this on Ari season? Yeah.
Was it Ari season
Right, because she got to fantasy suites with Ari, and then maybe they brought him, whatever. But, and it was like so forced and like not good. And clearly, like Becca did not want that man there. Like it was like, no, we're on bad terms. Like no. So it's really fucked. And they did that with Cassie. They brought like Cassie's dad, which is like a little different. But regardless, like
then?
they've like fucked with contestants before. So like I wouldn't put it past them. Obviously, doing a lot of the legwork for Matthew,
Totally.
but
There's
I
no way he
also
spent like
yeah,
$1,000 on the fight.
exactly. Yeah. But
He's
also
on
like
his own
part of
dime.
part of it did seem like a little bit more real. Like a little bit more, or I guess not real, but like him and Jen aren't on bad terms essentially. So
Yeah,
like I feel a little less offended by this than I would
right.
probably previously. So that's my take.
And I do have to
Yeah.
say they kind of fooled me because for some reason, I don't know if it's like a fever dream or whatever, but like when I've seen like the promos of her being surprised, I felt like she looked way more devastated
Right.
in those promos.
Yeah.
Like she was like, "Oh my gosh," like actually like shook and scared almost and like walking away saying like, "What is he doing here?" But in this one like, he comes up and she's like, "Oh, like okay, like what is going on right now?" You know what I mean? Was that just me or did you guys feel like there was a difference with
No,
that too?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. They made it seem like it was the toxic ex, definitely.
So
And you
did
were
they
like,
take
because I think last episode we were like, how mean of them to do that to Jen, but also like how interesting.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Do you
like I
think
Yeah.
they took
said, they've done that before. They've brought in the toxic exes to
but do
the
you think they
Yeah.
took like multiple takes just for funsies? They're like, okay, Jen, act more scared now.
Oh
It seemed
Action.
genuine. I thought her reaction was oh, you mean like that was the real one we saw in the episode, but then like in the promos they did
yeah.
more dramatic one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I
I
mean,
mean,
They probably
It's
I
just
wouldn't
just
put it
yeah,
past them.
used like audio from something else, like because
yeah.
that's not like not we're not seeing her face say that per se. She's walking away, going like,
What is he doing here? And
yeah.
like
So
stuff like
like,
that. Yeah.
yeah, who
Mm-hmm.
knows? Yeah.
True, true.
Do you think,
Um,
um, okay, so I think probably they reached out to him. But to your point, Jenna, like I feel like it is more believable that he like they had a situationship and then she just broke it off like to go on this show. Like
Right.
he thought maybe they were getting into relationships. Like
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Going to
I do feel
Wendy's
like they reached out to
together.
him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes next week, but I'm fine with it. I think it's
yeah,
because I mean, like, I like maybe three of the men,
I know.
so I'm okay with another man who might be kind of okay coming
What
into.
are your thoughts on Jonathan?
Yeah, it's Jonathan, Dylan, and Grant. That's it for me, basically.
I feel like Grant is like on my shit list for some reason.
Yeah.
Only because he is like a out of country basketball pro.
So he's here for the
Don't
wrong
trust him.
reasons. Yeah, exactly. Fair.
We don't
Yeah.
trust that.
Overseas.
That's true.
We were doing what were we recapping? Lovers
But
and
yeah, you're right.
Liars.
Dylan and John about them. Everybody else. Yeah, exactly. Everybody else, I'm like, I don't trust any of you guys. We're down to the nitty-gritty now too. It's so disappointing. Ugh. Like, there's not
Yeah.
even like quality people on here anymore.
At least I'm happy to know all the names. I mean, I'll just try to forget the outside drama and appreciate it for what it is. Because I did have some people I was rooting for before I knew things.
I
So I'm just
know.
gonna live in that fantasy world until the end of
What a
the
character
season.
arc.
That's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I said, because like the thing is, people we've loved from past seasons are probably aligned similarly, right?
Oh
And then
yeah.
again, as long as until they tell you otherwise, you just have to assume, and you have to hope for the best. You have to hope that they're like not insane about it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if they're just like kind of dumb and they've never voted before, or they're like in their own world,
Yeah.
fine. It's not
We were
fine, but
raised
it's
that
like
way.
it's fine for like me watching a television show, for me watching a trashy television, right? It's the ones that go on there and like fucking post shit and are like,
Oh yeah.
"Brr, brr, brr." I'm like, okay, you can eat rocks.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck.
Yeah, definitely.
Too much. I think that's part of being a Bachelor fan. You just have to assume that a little bit for everyone.
Yeah,
And
I
that's how
mean,
we move
yeah.
on.
Or you can
That's
go
how we
crazy
survive.
like I did in 2020 and get blocked by a lot of the members. Like, do you guys know I'm
That's
blocked by
fun.
I'm blocked by Tyler Cameron. I'm blocked by Matt James. I'm
Why are they
blocked
blocking you? Like,
because
Just because
I used to tag them in
oh,
stories and posts where I would be like either talking about their improper COVID precautions or their voting, right? Like Tyler specifically, I caught him on a boat that had a bunch of Trump flags on it, and he was just
oh,
like on a
scary.
boat, and I put a bunch of it in my story. I was like, at Tyler Cameron, what the fuck? I got blocked. Uh, so yeah, like I was a menace. Yeah, so I don't, it's just
that's
how.
amazing. They're
We
just
love
like
that.
mute this girl.
Oh my god, good
Well,
times.
that was
I think that's an honor, to be honest.
yeah.
I would love to be blocked by Bachelor Nation.
Okay, my favorite one is I'm blocked by Peter Weber's mom because
Sweetnums.
so so because at one point when he was like going back after his season and fucking Kelly again or whatever, and like I don't, there was like some shit. I made some meme about like how we were all how she was Sweet Nums was like being really weird and being like, "Yay, my son is fucking again." It was like I don't know, it was like dating this woman. It was like she's so personal into his bullshit, and I made some kind of meme about like a mom talking about her kid fucking, and she blocked me.
Oh, you're like, that was mild.
I was like mild because like when you guys were on after the final rose for his season of Hannah Brown's, which I guess some of you didn't see in this call, they had sex 4 times in a windmill, and when they mentioned the 4 times in a windmill on the stage, they cut to his mom and dad, and they're like,
Yep.
That's my
"That's our
boy.
boy," and I was
yeah.
like, so I made some meme about that, and she's like, "You're blocked." So, anyway,
Interesting to be so sex positive in one scenario and then just shut it down in
I'm
another.
just trying to have fun.
Yeah, it seems like she was supportive. Women
Exactly.
supporting women. I don't
Can't take it too
understand.
seriously.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, that was a good recap of this episode. We are gonna go right into our next segment, Trash Reacts. And with Trash Reacts, it's just where we go ahead and scour around with some funny memes that we see on Twitter, Instagram, repost from like Bachelorette Windmill or anybody else like that. And we just share it because we love the laughs here. Did you guys find any memes that stood out to you?
Yeah,
Always.
mine was somebody doing a screenshot of Sam M on the drop down from the building, and they're like, I think you're just here for the zip line. So
Life imitating art.
funny. It was like perfect. I really watched that scene on the I think you should leave, and I was like, it's literally him.
It is. He's so into that date too. Like he's just like, I'm here having fun.
That is hilarious.
I think all the other men are on drug addicts because I want to use the zip line. Shut the fuck up.
They should have put that after like or whatever the like final segment they do. It's just like him going down the building over and over again. She's like, yeah, he didn't come back with me.
Oh, God.
A little bit.
Rach, what do you got?
I had one that is now amazingly like very spot on and appropriate. Not having known what our conversation was going to be about, but it's a screenshot of Sam and Devin in the room together, and it says, "When you end up alone with your MAGA uncle," which is great, which is actually more accurate than I knew at the time.
Oh my God. I can't. But also, yeah, no, that's funny. That is funny.
What's funny is they would actually agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then mine is a screenshot from Very Odd Parents, Mr. Turner, Timmy's dad. And basically it says Sam M to Devin, your name doesn't come out of my mouth. I don't give a fuck about you. Also Sam M every 2 seconds, Devin. Instead of saying like Dinkelberg.
What is it? Oh yeah. Tinkleberg.
Oh
I
my
forgot about that.
And I like that they edited it. That's smart. I love when people like commit to the bit and they're like take the original image and then they change it. Always my favorite.
Very good. Twitter's been better. It's like kind of hit or miss sometimes with Bachelorette like seasons. You can tell how good they are based on like the chatter, but I feel like this episode was pretty good. There were good memes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. For sure. All right, you guys. Jenna, please share with our people where they can find you as far as like social media, podcasts, etc., etc.
Please do. Yeah. So you can follow me at Date Card Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Mostly on TikTok I do like personal things and I talk about Gaylor Swift and Taylor Swift,
Ooh,
and
love
I
it.
also do some Bachelor takes though, so you can enjoy the time. But yeah, Date Card Pod, and sometimes on Twitter at Date Card the podcast. And yeah, come for messy takes, memes, and lesbian takes about all
Also
the
YouTube,
views.
right?
Oh yeah, now on YouTube, you're right, at Date Card Pod. You can watch the videos of the episodes. So yeah, check it out. You can see all of our beautiful faces from this episode, and it has been very fun and you can see the funny photos I chose each week. Which right now currently is Sam M looking down at his penis, which
Yeah.
is the microphone, but
It's stunning. It's stunning, really.
and tell my listeners where they can find you guys.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Trash TV Pod. We are also on Twitter, Trash TV Reacts, and then we do have TikTok. It's Trash TV Pod, but with two D's at the end. It can be a little bit confusing. I found out that I made two accounts and I don't know how to delete the other one. So, whatever. Trash TV Pod with the two D's at the end is for us.
She was beefing for a long time. She's like, who's this other person stole our username? And like a month later found out that it was her.
Yeah.
Wow, what a bitch.
Yeah.
What a bitch. I hate that person.
Sometimes we're our own worst enemies.
Oh my God,
Technology.
this is so much fun. I really am so glad we got to do this.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. This is so fun. I love this crew, and we're gonna love listening to your takes throughout the season too. I can't wait to keep up with you and see how you're feeling. We'll
Guys.
definitely be listening if you have any more tea. We like to stay informed, so we'll be listening to you for that.
Knowledge is power.
Yes.
Exactly. Alrighty. Well, sounds good, you guys. Until the next. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, cool.
Wait, how do I
Ah, that was
stop
so
this?
fun.
Oh,
That was so fun. Thank you.
oh, hold
Ugh,
on.
please
Stop
good number.
recording.